Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wake Up Report. Everybody has a weak spot. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how bad you are. Everybody has a weak spot. Even God Almighty has a weak spot because God could have pulled the plug on us a long time ago. But there's something about us that hits God's weak spot. And God says, I'm going to keep them around for just a little bit longer. Because despite all of the messed up crap that some of them do, there are some of them who are worth saving. So for me, my weak spot is children, it's kids. I love kids. I just can't see myself doing anything to harm a child, to hurt a child, kill a child, to do something to a child that if the child survived would scar that child, destroy that child's future. Just whatever horrible thing that you can do to make a child's life a living nightmare. But unfortunately, 9-month-old baby ran into a living nightmare and did not survive. The layout of the show, I usually get as many pictures as I can. I'm going to use very few pictures this one because I really want you to see the and these pictures. Very rarely do I put pictures up that show kids in a distressed or truly messed up condition, but this one is important just to show you the depths of some people's savagery, barbarism. This one is just like I said, my weak spot is kids, and when I see people that do mean things to kids, man, if God punishes me for wanting to punish the person who punished that child, man, I don't know. I always say I may have to just take that punishment because this is just it is beyond sick. 32-year-old Benjamin Taylor was arrested recently for the rape and murder of a 9-month-old baby. This man snatched this child while it was sleeping in his girlfriend's house, took this child in the basement and proceeded to rape this child and then do so much damage to this child that eventually the child died at the hospital because of the severe trauma. I cannot imagine. A 9-month-old doesn't even have a thought process. So all you are processing is pain. All you can do is scream and cry because all you feel is pain. And at that point, where an adult is supposed to protect a child, where an adult is supposed to come to a child's aid, there wasn't anybody there. There wasn't anything that could be done. I'll be perfectly honest, man. After I read this and then I saw that child, I teared up. It's just something that it's still in me now. When you see things, I did a story previously about another savage that did the same thing to a child, and my mind just cannot go where these people go in regards to what they do to children, how they perceive children, and how you could commit such a savage. There's some things that are just unforgivable. Adults murder adults, no problem. I can dig that. For whatever reasons, there's usually a justification for what adults do to each other. There is no justification for what this man did to that baby. There is no justification. You look at those pictures, and very rarely what I consider. I considered not putting these pictures up of this child, but I thought it was important for you to see if you can stomach that. And you put that in your head, what this man was doing with a 9-month-old baby in a basement. He put his penis in a 9-month-old baby. And I know it sounds horrific, but it's reality. That's reality right there. And I'm trying to be as descriptive while not being descriptive, but if you could, I can't even imagine. Put your penis in a 9-month-old baby and moving that baby back and forth so you can ejaculate on a 9-month-old baby. And then, of course, you have to kill the baby because the baby's mama's going to find out about it. And this savage did this while this baby's mother was asleep. You know, I just did a show. Women, watch who you bring around your children. Watch these guys. This country is failing children. It really is. This country is failing children when you allow people to walk into schools with rifles and shoot up kids, when you allow people to rape and sodomize children like this. You know, we are failing our children. There's no protection for our children. And I consider all of them, this child, that everybody should do that. Every child is your child, and every child deserves to be able to go somewhere where they can be safe and protected, especially in their house. Don't bring strange men around your children. Now, I think President Obama has done an excellent job as president, despite what a lot of people think. But where he has failed horribly is with children. Chicago, his hometown, should have been the test ground, the proving ground, should have been the start. Because after a 9-year-old boy got lured into an alley and executed, as president under his watch, something should have been done to instigate a program that makes it easier to convict people that do things like this to children, that makes it easier to find people like this to do things to children, to make children a national priority. And that's what I don't hear in these debates and these, you know, I'm running for president and what from Congress to the Senate to the House. Nobody makes children a priority. We talk about children after they get shot up in school, after they get raped down in the basement, but we don't do anything preemptive. Everything is always reactionary. Now, I also am a proponent, because you have those that say, you know, there should be no death penalty, and all the death penalty does is it shows how savage a society we are. And I'm sorry, man. This is beyond life in prison. This is beyond anything. There should be laws on the books, universal as well as national, that when you do this type of thing to a child, you have automatically earned the death penalty. You can run it through a trial if you want. You can sit through all of the I was abused as a child, and my daddy didn't hug me, and my mama didn't breastfeed me, and all whatever crap you want to cycle through the justice system. At the end of the day, you raped, sodomized, and murdered a 9-month-old baby. Death penalty. Automatic. I don't care what you have to say. And you can find God if you want. You can find Jesus if you want. And you may go on and get to heaven before I do. But the way I see it, go ahead and find Jesus and go ahead and find God. You still have to pay for what you did on this earth to that child. All this crap that's been floating back and forth between Secretary Clinton and Donald Trump, and what they're going to do as president, and what they're addressing as president, all the way up to the vice presidential debates. And nobody will ask them at some point, what about these children? What about these rapes and the sodomy and abuse of children? What are you going to do about that as a president? What are you going to do to protect children and make sure children can go to school safely and not be beat up in bathrooms and die? What are you going to do to prevent things like this from happening? To prevent grown men, 30-plus-year-old grown men, from raping 9-month-old children? There has to be a limit, and there has to be a line where you do not cross. And we just let people cross all kind of lines in this country. If you want to set a good example for what a civilized nation is supposed to be like, we have to get way more civilized than this. The richest, most prosperous, most advanced country on planet Earth. And this is the best that we can produce. People that sit around and lust and thirst after 9-month-old babies to the point they snatch them out of their beds at night to take them into the basement. You can't control your lust and thirst to the point to where you get up in the middle, you've been fixated on that child to the point where that is how you live out your sick fantasy. I can't tell you, man. This is just, you look at this child, and I can't imagine it. I just can't. Potential presidents, future presidents, law officials, city councilmen, mayors, governors, do something collectively. Make a better place for children, man. This is absolutely disgusting. This is KTM and the Wake Up Report saying think a little bit. It will do wonders for you.